Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio Justice Tamale, Radio Kpando Kpando, Fafa Radio Joje, and Jata FM Karaga. We are live on X Spaces, Facebook live stream, and the My Joy Online interactive app. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience, and Duraplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. Coming up. Uneasy calm at the Tema Oil Refinery as members of the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union demand the immediate dissolution of the Board of Directors, citing incompetence and alleged corruption.
We are also calling on the president to dissolve this incompetent board. Yeah. We equally seek to remind the executive management, especially the acting managing director, to do the needful with the evidence available to establish orderliness in talk.
We'll take you live there for a reaction, and there is some agitation in the world of sports.
And from the Accra Sports Stadium, where a group called the Ghana Football Stakeholders Forum are demonstrating against perceived injustices and corruption in the Ghana Football Association. We'll be bringing you updates. Gary L. Smith here.
Also, the story of 15-year-old Priscilla Sante, who misses class twice a week just to be on the dialysis machine amidst a crushing financial burden on her family.
My mom and dad do not have money either.
As we focus on our dialysis crisis series, we explore the health-seeking habit of the Ghanaian.
The fact that you can go about your activities does not mean you are healthy. I have seen a lot of people rushed into Komfanoche, for instance, in their working gear. They were fine. They've always been fine. So we realized that blood pressure is 240, 140, and he's developed a stroke, kidney disease.
We'll share with you the alarming statistics, and government insists the environment is not for sale as 25 illegal miners have been jailed.
The short-term gains of illegal mining cannot outweigh the long-term cost to our communities.
We'll hear from the Attorney General, who says the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019 is now receiving full application. And later, Black Sherif wins BET Hip Hop Award for Best International Flow.
Who don't know me, don't know me. Ask who know me, say you are me.
We've got details of these and more here on the Midday News. Thanks for choosing us. Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. The details now. Members of the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union of the Tema Oil Refinery TOR are demanding the immediate dissolution of the board. The aggrieved workers accuse the directors of permitting a new special purpose vehicle, the Tema Energy and Processing Levy, with a share allocation of 40% to Card Investment Holdings, 40% to Torrentco, and 20% to a certain TOR Workers Charity Trust that they do not endorse. Bernard Owusu is national chairman of the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union.
In our singular position, ladies and gentlemen, if this gesture or decision ticks the prudence, ethics and conflict of interest boxes, shouldn't it have gone through management for a comprehensive workforce engagement and establishment of the right modality and the structures? Unless this is just a cover-up to reward this section of workers, executives, who also double as Torrentco surrogate within the refinery. Ladies and gentlemen, we are by this press release pleading with His Excellency, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to restore maturity in the corporate governance at all, but for integrity, driving decision. We are also calling on the President to dissolve this incompetent board. We equally seek to remind the executive management, especially the acting managing director, to do the needful with the evidence available to establish orderliness in talk.
Now, the aggrieved workers are also accusing the board of directors of lacking the technical competence to manage the refinery's affairs. Jojo Kumsin is a local chairman of a union there.
The crux of this issue has to do with our board. Our board is compromised. The board chairman, Mr. Adomako, Mr. Pentin, and Mrs. Sapagran, 3 people, they have taken hostage of the board. And they are micromanaging the board and management as well. The day-to-day administration of the refinery, they are now dictating to the acting MD what to do and what not to do. They are behind the creation of these names and these entities. They don't have any competency apart from the competency of being political actors or MPP members. They are actually dragging the name of the president into the mud with all the decisions that they are taking. They are actually there to make money for themselves and create things among their cronies.
Let me take you live to the refinery now. My colleague Carlos Caloni is standing by for us. Hello, Carlos. Now, you're receiving a reaction to these allegations by the workers.
All right. So I'm here with the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of the Thermal Oil Refinery, the person of Bright Adongo, to react to some of these concerns being raised by the junior staff workers. So these concerns from the junior staff workers are legitimate, aren't they?
Okay, Carlos, thank you very much. I think the issue about the board, that they are claiming that the board is acting in a way that seems to suggest that there's a proficiency. I think these issues, when you have evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, you just go to court of law. I mean, I don't want to waste my time on these things. The issue is about myself has formed a company with board. There's no truth in it. There's no truth in it. The fact of the matter is that this is the partner who decided that out of his own share, he will create a trust fund for toll workers. And if it is share, he can withdraw it. You understand? The essence of this trust fund was that they want workers to show part of ownership. If you are part ownership to the company, and there is something going wrong in the company, workers will volunteer information so that toll can be run and run efficiently. It is when it is run efficiently, whatever percentage is gotten, then 20% will go into the trust fund for every worker. So if you know that if the company makes profit, it is then that you also get a trust fund which is yielding 20%. Then every worker will be vigilant.
But their concern is that you've not included them in the deal, the discussion. And even now, Torrance is here to fully come on board. How come you have that trust fund set up? That's their concern.
The trust fund was set up by the partner. Their membership is on the board. So I don't know what they are talking about. There's no truth in that.
All right. So, Bernice, that was the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of the Thermal Oil Refinery reacting to these concerns by the junior staff.
And Carlos, what's the current mood at all?
So the mood here at Store appears to be calm. Earlier when the junior staff addressed the press, they were really charged, demanding the dissolution of the board. And they also said that they could not guarantee the safety of board members when they come to the facility. And so the reason why they are urging the appointing authorities to, as a matter of urgency, dissolve the board so they can go ahead to see what can be done here at Store.
That's Carlos Caloni coming to us from the Tema Oil Refinery. Now from one protest to another. Now clad in red, black and holding placards highlighting instances they believe to have contributed to the retrogression of Ghana football, a group known as the Ghana Football Stakeholders Forum has been demonstrating from their Kwaje interchange here in Accra through Ringway Estate, past the site of the National Cathedral, the Accra Sports Stadium, and they finally ended up at the Sports Ministry. Charles Kojo and team, popularly known as Mickey Charles in football circles, briefed Joy News on what their petition contains.
Tournaments, people like you and Gary. I mean, we went to Cameroon. It was a disaster.
The president of the FA came out to tell us, because we have no Lionel Messi and we don't have a certain Cristiano Ronaldo in the team. That is why we lost. We couldn't perform at the tournament. You are part of the CHAN team that was, in Algeria for the CHAN tournament. Look at the way we disgrace ourselves over there. We have not been to the Olympic Games for so many years. We've been praying to get to the Olympic Games. We went to this Olympic qualifiers and it was a disaster. Look at the World Cup in Qatar. I mean, the minister himself and the FA president assured Ghanaians that we were going to bring the trophy to Ghana. Look at our position at the World Cup, including teams like, Uruguay, South Korea, and then Portugal. You understand? Nothing is working at the FA now. Which serious institution will close down their headquarters and say, because they are going for the elections in Tamale, so the whole FA has been shut down? Because a lot of people have raised concerns about the way they are running the association. We have only 2 people contesting for the presidency. One has been disqualified. He has he's gone for an appeal. The appeal has been dismissed. He's now in court. The court has assured us on the 12th of October they're going to give us a hearing. Why are they rushing to have an election?
Well, about 150 people made up of mostly young persons, footballers and aggrieved administrators are participating in this protest, and Gary Al Smith is on ground for us. Hello, Gary. So was there a response from the Youth Ministry at all?
Yes, the Sports Minister was not around, and so the petition was received by Dr. Osman, the Chief Accountant of the Sports Ministry. He commended the organizers for what he said was a very orderly demonstration, law-abiding one, and also commended the police and all other stakeholders for it. But the guys or the protesters are not done, Bernice, because after presenting the petition, they are walking back from the Sports Ministry through the same route, the conference center, taking to the Ringway Estate and past the site of the National Cathedral, back to the GFA, where I must say the offices have been locked ahead of tomorrow's FA election, to speak to the media and get some videos as well for evidence.
But Gary, what is the implication of all this on tomorrow's elections?
Well, that's a good question, because about 3 separate injunctions have been attempted to be served to the Ghana Football Association for various reasons. All have not materialized. Now, the last one happened last week, Thursday, where they attempted to serve the GFA, but when they went there, the GFA offices were locked. And then shortly, a statement was put out by the GFA saying that they had moved the offices of the GFA to Tamale, where the elections tomorrow will take place. So, as we speak now, Bernice, the actions today will not affect the elections in any way.
Thank you, Gary. That's Gary Al Smith bringing us some quick updates on that protest by football lovers, administrators and some footballers. To some other stories here on the Midday News, government says it's mindful of the long-term effects of illegal mining on the environment and is working to stop the menace. Out of some 727 individuals standing trial for their alleged involvement in illegal mining, 25 of them were sentenced to a total of 340 years by the Takwa Circuit Court for engaging in illegal mining in 5 different sites in the Western region. Apart from the jail terms, the court, presided over by Hafia Amamenu, also imposed a fine of 120,000 cedis on each of the convicts, totaling 2.52 million cedis. Interior Minister Ambrose Derry at the Wala Dumba Festival in the Upper West region called on chiefs to take a tough stance against illegal mining.
As we gather here today, I call upon our traditional authorities to take a firm stance against illegal mining. Let us use the power and respect of our chieftaincy institutions. Command to drive home the message that our environment is not for sale, and that the short-term gains of illegal mining cannot outweigh the long-term cost to our communities.
While in the courts, government appears to be recording some successes in the fight against illegal mining. Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfred Yeboadame tells me that the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019 is now receiving full application.
I'll say that the concern I raised earlier on with regards to the judicial process was in respect of 2 specific issues. The first was the slow pace of prosecution, and the second was also the wrong application of the law. So in respect to the slow pace of judicial processes, Yes, I bemoaned the slowness of the process in the sense that judges take too long the time to adjudicate on cases. Many a time the regulation for criminal trials to proceed from day to day is not applied, and that was of concern to me. So I'm that grateful to the court for these convictions and the imposition of the appropriate sentences sanctioned by the Minerals and Mining Act. And I think that it's also gratifying to note that the new Chief Justice has signaled the preparedness to cooperate with the Ministry of Justice, my outfit, to ensure that galamsey offences are speedily prosecuted.
So we've been at this fight for quite some time, honestly, and there are those who are excited by the news of this, but there's also the concern that these people may just be carrying out the orders of their bosses. They are the financiers. There are the kingpins behind the whole galamsey menace. Are we getting them as well?
We prosecute on the basis of evidence. We prosecute when there is docket built, of course, on the strength of evidence that we have unearthed. So if people are engaged in galamsey activity, straight away they are arrested, and when they are arrested, they put through their due process and they're prosecuted. I'm not aware of any kingpin who is not being prosecuted. All along there has been the mention of this major Chinese kingpin behind galamsey operations in Ghana, Aisha Wan. Aisha Wan is being prosecuted. Indeed, the prosecution is actually at an end. We concluded the prosecution in July. The date was fixed for filing of what we call closing submission. Closing submissions have been duly filed, and the court has fixed 12th October for judgment.
There are allegations of some Ghanaian politicians, sponsoring mining in certain areas. Is your office willing to engage, for example, these galamseyers who have been prosecuted? Are you willing to offer them a plea bargain, for example, to investigate further the possibility of finding any local sponsors of this menace?
Yes, we go through the process of trying to identify the real persons behind the galamsey activities. But I think that's also important to indicate that evidence is critical and key. About some 6-7 months ago, we heard about this Professor Frimpong Barton's allegations contained a report that they had prepared. Indeed, investigations were conducted on the basis of that. And very soon, our report on it will be ready, and I'm sure it will be released to the public to study. It will show clearly a failure on the part of the professor to even cooperate. He was invited a number of times to the police station. He said he was just relying on the allegations contained in his report.
That's Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfrey Abu-Baidoo speaking to me earlier. In a related development, the Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Engineers, David Kenyante, is urging government to fight illegal mining activities. He says they are affecting the quality of water.
Engineers don't only treat water and distribute water. They need to discuss these issues with the communities and ensure that we always have good and safe water for all. There's a lot of pollution in our water bodies from galamsey and other operations that pollute our water bodies. And these are things that we shouldn't just keep quiet about and just expect that we continue to treat our water and then distribute. We should let the community know the dangers involved in polluting the water body.
David Kenyante is Executive Director of the Ghana Institution of Engineers. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. In our Dialysis Crisis series today, we delve into the harrowing tales that unfold not only in hospitals, but in the very core of families being torn apart. It's a story that paints the agonizing choice that families of patients have to make between witnessing their loved ones slip away or embarking on a desperate quest for money to keep them on dialysis machines. Richard Kojanyako tells the story of 15-year-old Priscilla Sante, who has to miss class twice a week to be on a dialysis machine. And that's not all. This is really affecting her family and crushing them.
The humming sound of medical equipment here at the renal unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital welcoming patients. It's a Tuesday morning and 15-year-old Priscilla Sante is being wheeled into the renal unit here.
The doctors told me I have to be on a machine. And I have to be on that machine either twice or thrice a week.
For now, she has to travel nearly 100 kilometers from Chifumampong with her mother to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital every Tuesday and Thursday to have her dialysis session.
And my mom and dad do not have money either.
Priscilla, a junior high school pupil, now carries a weight much heavier than her school bag. Her daily battle now is not with textbooks and homework, but with the relentless adversary, renal failure.
I want the government to support me so I can live to fulfill my dream of becoming a nurse.
The burden of her illness has not only taken a toll on her fragile body, but has shattered her world due to the family's precarious financial situation.
They said that could be 3.5.
They say every section is 350 cedis. And this in addition to getting blood and other medication.
10 million.
That's Richard Kojanyako's report. Now let's focus on a bigger issue, and it's the health-seeking habit of the Ghanaian and how gullible some of us are in patronizing untested and unapproved medicines. The WHO recommends persons 40 years and above to undertake medical checkup 4 times a year. Data, however, from the Ghana Health Service says very few of us do it, and it's even only once a year. Pharmacist and research fellow at the Center for Democratic Development Ghana, Kwame Sapong-Siedu, says the trend is worrying.
So we collect data on the average number of times a Ghanaian would visit a clinician in a year. As at 2021, which is the latest data the Ministry of Health has, our patient per capita, which is the number of times on average a Ghanaian would visit a health practitioner, was 1.13, which means the average Ghanaian seeks healthcare once a year.
Wow.
Once a year. Yeah. This is official government data. Ordinarily, it should be about 4, which means you would seek healthcare once every quarter. We do not have any data that tells us how many people see quacks, priests, fetishes, and traditional medicine. We don't have any data on it.
Now, nephrologist with the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Elliot Tinkrang Tano, says more people are dying from patronizing unapproved and untested medicines.
Where a young woman who actually was operating a shop, she was selling, and this gentleman passes by, of course, mentions all sort of conditions, which definitely will include one of the conditions this lady probably had. And, she bought the medication, and in 4 hours, she was admitted to Komfanochi Teaching Hospital.
Wow.
We got involved because there was something in the blood, which when the labs came, it was so low that she had so weak, and that was potassium. When people get kidney disease, their potassium actually goes up because the body cannot clear it from the body.
Yeah.
So I actually got intrigued that what did this gentleman sell to this patient for the potassium to drop that quickly in such a period of time. But the key thing was that I asked her, do you know this gentleman? I said, Doc, I've never seen him before. Do you know where his shop is? I don't know where his shop is. If we want to locate him to find out what he gave to you, can we? He said no. And I was like, you were that trusting to put something in your mouth from somebody. You don't know the qualification. You don't know where he's coming from. You don't know where he stays. And indeed, when you even come to the hospital and we sometimes give you medications that are researched into, the ordinary Ghanaian will not even take it.
That's nephrologist at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Elliot Tinkrang Tano. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, apart from the bragging rights as the best science school in Ghana, there are exciting prize packages of at least 200,000 cedis up for grabs at this year's NSMQ, including 2 new cash prize categories. And later, Black Sherif wins BET Hip Hop Award for Best International Flow.
Who don't know me, don't know me. Ask
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn. E no buff, e no chop. Where e vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You no get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Hajia, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank get meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selenium. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! As my boss, Mr. Poncho, go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
Thanks for staying on the Midday News. Now, banking consultant Nanotue Champong is defending the Bank of Ghana as he insists the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, did no wrong by accepting to write off 53.1 billion cedis of government's debt accrued from the domestic debt exchange program. His comment was in reaction to the minority's call for Dr. Addison's resignation over allegations of printing money to support government expenditure without recourse to parliamentary approval. Speaking on PM Express last night, Nanotue Champong said the BOG is not obliged to consult Parliament in taking such decisions.
You yourself provided the figures that there was zero financing in 17, 18, 19, and 21. It was only in 2020 that there was no zero financing. Now,
also in 2022. Also in 2022.
Yeah, because of IMF. Yeah. So the 2021 COVID is accepted, and I mean the legislators are there. They know what should have happened. Is it the Bank of Ghana which has to make the application, or the Ministry of Finance? Bank of Ghana doesn't stand on this own.
Nanotue Champong speaking on PM Express with Evans Mensah. Now, apart from the bragging rights as the best science and math school in Ghana, there are exciting prize packages up for grabs at this year's NSMQ, and it's going to be at every stage. Listen to programs coordinator at Primetime Limited, Halisa Tuaziz, explaining some of these prize packages.
Preparations are far advanced. So far, we've received 51 participating schools. They are in camp already. Setup is ongoing. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll be done with that and we'll be all set for the competition to start on Friday. We have a lot of prizes and awards to be won. We have a number of new ones. So this year we have what we call the Good Energy Double Champion Award. This is an extraordinary feat that we feel should be rewarded. We also have the Goal Super Bonanza, which is an upgrade on the Goal Riddle Bonanza. From the quarterfinal stage, any school who is able to answer any of the 4 riddles correctly will walk away with something. We also have the LCA Kaufman Top Runner Award.
That's programs coordinator at Primetime Limited, Halisatu Aziz, talking to us. So stay glued to our social media handles, our Joy News channel, and right here on Joy FM for timely updates on the NSMQ. And before I go, Black Sheriff has been projected to win the Best International Flow Award at the BET Hip Hop Awards. This comes as pre-recorded snippets that leaked online this morning suggested that the Kweku the Traveler hitmaker was on stage in the US to pick up the award. Joy Entertainment's Kojo Hayford has more.
Ghanaian singer and rapper Black Sheriff is the latest winner of the Best International Flow Award at the just-ended BET Hip Hop Awards, which took place last night. The event is set to officially premiere on October 10, but a leaked footage shows Black Sheriff walking onto the stage to pick the award for the 2023 BET Hip Hop Awards Best International Flow. He beat 9 other competitors to win the award. Congrats to Black Sheriff.
Who don't know me, don't know me. Ask who know me, say who I be. I know they open up to nobody. I give my hour to myself, my guys. Who don't know me, don't know me.
And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM, brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. And Duraplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. Our top story on Easy Calm at the Tema Oil Refinery, as members of the General Transport Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union demand the immediate dissolution of the board of directors, citing incompetence and alleged corruption. For updates on these and more, do log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. I appreciate your company. Have a good afternoon. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil.